The Pittsburgh Steelers are once again faced with the daunting task of securing a long-term solution at quarterback, a quest that has eluded them for years. While they may have a few options available to them this offseason, the reality is that unless they make a bold move, their quarterback woes could continue into the 2025 season and beyond. The problem is that the usual suspects, veteran quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, might not be the answer. Yes, they could provide short-term stability, but neither would serve as an ideal long-term solution for the Steelers, who are eager to contend for championships again. At this point, Pittsburgh finds itself in a difficult spot. The quarterback market is thin, with no clear-cut franchise player waiting to be scooped up. With established quarterbacks like Rodgers and Wilson potentially on the decline or not ideal fits for a team in need of a future leader, the Steelers may need to rethink their strategy. The obvious solution is no longer available, so the Steelers must get creative to secure their future at the most important position on the field. One option the Steelers should seriously consider is taking a chance on a young quarterback with untapped potential. Of course, this is always a risky proposition. The reality is that not every young quarterback will develop into the star player a team hopes for, and there's always uncertainty when investing in unproven talent. However, sometimes taking that calculated risk can lead to the best results. The NFL is full of stories of quarterbacks who weren't expected to be anything special, but later blossomed into franchise cornerstones. It's in that spirit that the Steelers could explore a potential trade for a quarterback like Hendon Hooker, a name that has started to gain some buzz in NFL circles. Hooker, a former third-round pick by the Detroit Lions in the 2023 NFL Draft, was a standout quarterback at the University of Tennessee. Before tearing his ACL in his final season of college football, Hooker was generating first-round buzz due to his impressive decision-making, mobility, and accuracy. Despite his injury and limited exposure to the NFL at this stage, Hooker still has intriguing upside. While he hasn't seen much action on the field, having appeared in just 3 NFL games, his potential is undeniable. His college performance showed that he has the physical and mental traits to succeed at the next level with proper coaching and development. The Steelers, who have been struggling to find a long-term answer at quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger's retirement, are now at a crossroads. The team is in a position where they may not be able to land an elite veteran or a top-tier draft prospect. With options dwindling and no immediate solution on the horizon, they may have to take a gamble on a project quarterback like Hooker, someone who could develop into a star with the right system and guidance. Sure, Hooker may not be the immediate answer. He isn't the perfect fit, and the Steelers might find themselves in a similar situation next year if they rely on him too early. But the team must consider whether they can afford to pass up a potential future franchise quarterback simply because of the uncertainty surrounding his development. Sometimes teams need to make tough decisions, and the Steelers may have to take a leap of faith on a young signal caller who could pay dividends in the long run. So, what would it take for Pittsburgh to land Hooker? According to a recent suggestion by Noah Strab of Sports Illustrated, the Steelers could potentially acquire him for a relatively low cost. a 6th-round pick. If that's all it would take to get a developmental prospect with as much upside as Hooker, it could be a low-risk, high-reward move that the Steelers should strongly consider. At worst, if Hooker doesn't develop into the player Pittsburgh hopes for, the team wouldn't have invested significant draft capital, making it a safe, low-commitment move. At best, they could be getting a quarterback with the tools to develop into a potential franchise player. In his college days, Hooker was known for his strong decision-making, accuracy, and ability to move the ball with both his arm and his legs. These are traits that, with proper development, could make him a viable starting quarterback at the NFL level. However, there's no denying that Hooker has a long way to go before being ready for a starting role. With only a handful of appearances in the NFL to his name, it's hard to say whether he has the necessary skills to succeed as a starter right away. But that's the nature of the gamble. If the Steelers are looking to compete in 2025, they will need a solution at quarterback. And while Hooker may not be the immediate fix, he could be part of the long-term plan. If the trade doesn't work out, Pittsburgh's investment would be minimal. The team would have only given up a 6th-round pick, which is a relatively small price to pay for a potential high-reward prospect. And even if Hooker doesn't pan out, the Steelers would still be in the hunt for their next franchise quarterback, perhaps with a clearer idea of their next move. The bottom line is that this could be a calculated risk worth taking, especially when the other alternatives don't seem to offer much more certainty. By 2025, the Steelers will be aiming to return to playoff contention. Their quarterback situation, however, is a major unknown, and they cannot afford to stand still while waiting for the perfect solution. If Pittsburgh takes a chance on Hooker, especially if they can land him for a relatively small investment, they could be setting themselves up for success in the long term. The key to building a winning franchise often involves making tough decisions and taking calculated risks, and in this case, betting on Hooker's potential could be the right call. Whether he turns into the Steelers'